Hello, Sara Haines.
Hi, Brian.
It is Wednesday. What a fun show today. It was a little bit different.
Such a fun show.
We had hot topics, and then we were graced by Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts. That was pretty cool. What did you think of the interview? You talked to him and you ran some plays. You ran some routes on our virtual football field.
Well, one, that's just so crazy to say to people, like you caught a ball from Jalen Hurts.
Right.
But also knowing the energy of the Super Bowl and that he just won and was MVP and all that rode on that game, it feels like you can almost feel it still, the energy of all of that.
Yeah, it kind of comes with them, and it's such a whirlwind, it's literally on the field. What are you going to do next? I'm going to Disney World.
Yes.
Then they come to New York, they do talk shows, but it's just, I wonder how much it's even sunk in for him.
Well, and just, you can almost, like any great moment when something happens, you're looking at someone, what's running through your head is, what if I were them? What would I be thinking? So I couldn't stop, and I couldn't help but look at him and just keep thinking, does he get it yet? Was, like even the roller coasters, here's like the MVP of the Super Bowl.
He's
like,
on
that
Tron.
Tron was like, I didn't expect that. And I'm like,
he said he's never been to Disney World before. That was crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And that is such a gift in life. He'll be back.
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. And then we got to play, and that was good. And we didn't know we were going to do that until he showed up. We were playing with ideas.
No, I swear he didn't know what to do with me. It kind of reminds me of when I was talking to, why am I blanking on her name, Supreme Court judge that was here. Three names, sounds like
Ketanji
Brown.
Yeah.
Jackson. I was talking to her and asking her if they ever do slow-mo TikToks, like walking down halls in their robes, and she's kind of like, who are you?
Yeah,
So I'm looking at Jalen. I was like, do you want me to hike the ball? Because I can do that. You can call a play. He goes, no, I'm good. I'm like,
well, I was playing defense, which was a big thrill for me. And
yeah, you could have tried. What I wanted was a sack. I
mean,
wanted that awkward moment on TV where it goes, oh, and everyone's like, we're gonna have to go to commercial.
I made the joke. I said to him, I'm going to blitz on the next one, and he looked at Sonny and he's like, he's not going to touch me. I was like, okay. So
I would never trash talk Jalen. I would trash talk the ones you could take out, which were all of us.
I am a Giants fan, although Jalen's on all my fantasy teams. So he
seems like such a great guy.
My View Fantasy League team is called the Hurts Locker because he's my quarterback.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, of course.
That totally tracks for you, Brian.
Anyway, it was I came into today with a big smile on my face. It was a lot of fun, even though I'm a Giants fan. It was
almost
great.
Doesn't matter what fan you are. People trade all the time, just like when we talk about the players that were just traded. Like those are chess pieces. Yeah. What matters is you have these elite athletes.
As Jerry Seinfeld says, you're rooting for laundry, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's a great way of putting it. Thank you, Jerry Seinfeld. But you're looking at these people, and I think as anyone, whether you're an athlete, for me, it's all of these athletic things that I did along the way. You just look at the greatness of it all, and it doesn't matter what jersey they're wearing.
He's just a classy, charismatic, incredibly talented guy. So
and in a very small elite group of people being an MVP at the Super Bowl.
Yes. All right. So let's change gears to the rest of the show, where we were greeted by other legends. This is amazing. So I think these are the guests that probably had you really excited to get out of bed this morning. Saturday Night Live greats, Larraine Newman, Julia Sweeney, and Leslie Jones. They were with us today to celebrate the 50th anniversary of SNL. They have a big thing this weekend. Now, SNL, I know, is extremely important to you. It's important to me, too. But I feel like for you, SNL is to you what David Letterman was for me.
Well, so SNL is why I came to New York City.
Right.
All in its entirety. And it wasn't because I don't think I could have dreamt big enough to really think I was going to make it onto SNL. But the sketch comedy model was what motivated me to come to New York and try to get into improv and sketch comedy. Yes. Not stand-up, but improv and sketch. SNL was like my North Star. And to see the greats. Now, then I become a page. And part of my tour, when you get to the SNL studio, is the not yet ready for primetime players.
All right, so for people who don't know, the NBC Page program is a big deal if you're coming up in television.
Yeah.
After you get internships and things like that, everyone wants to be an NBC Page because there's a long legacy of people that have done it and gone on to big careers, both front of and behind the camera.
Yeah, like Regis Philbin was an NBC. There are a lot of people beyond that, but your tour involves looking at those not yet ready for primetime player, the picture, and talking about them. Like, to meet Larraine today, when her daughter came here for something, I rubbed her arm because I felt like that might be the closest I'd ever get.
Yeah, we had to talk to HR about that.
Yeah, we did. That was an awkward meeting. But to see the groups of comedians that took a chance and this institutional show they have made. We all know their ebbs and flows as to which years you like and everything. But the cast members that have graced that stage, if you walk anywhere near the studio in 30 Rock, you feel the energy of greatness that has come through there in a way that being a page kind of summed up what my life was going to be like. Like, I'm just there and I'm seeing everything, but I'm behind a window.
It's still the coolest place in New York, I feel like, in television and everything else. I mean, it's the only thing that, like, I'd actually be excited to be in the audience for as far as, like, TV in New York City now at this point in my career. And I've been there a bunch of times. It's always really, really cool, and the talent is just off the charts. I grew up watching it like you did, I think. Probably earlier than I should have been because a lot of it was not appropriate. But I remember going to Blockbuster and getting all the best of VHSs and watching them over and over again and memorizing sketches from way before my time and really loving it.
Well, and I was discussing it this morning about, like, my favorites and who did I love. And as you start, you can't stop because the amount of greats that have come through SNL, it's legendary. It's like a Hall of Fame.
Yes.
So
I'm going to tell the story. It's probably going to get cut out. But yesterday, when we had these people coming on, they were going through the old clips and things like that. And someone on our staff asked our producer, the producer of this podcast, actually, if she remembered seeing the very first episode as a kid. And it's the 50th anniversary. And our producer is a lovely, lovely woman
it reminds you
is nowhere near 50, looks nowhere near 50, and has not gotten over this.
But it reminds me of Bradley Cooper to Amy Schumer that we talked about last week. You 50?
Yeah.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah, that was fantastic.
Like Summer, I was not around for the first episodes, but watching, honestly, through I want to say it'd be late 80s or mostly 90s was like when I was watching.
I remember going on the SNL tour, the 30 Rock tour, and being there and dreaming of sometimes getting to go there. I've been to a couple tapings. Have you gone back and seen the show?
I have, but to me, and I just had this conversation with all three of the women that were here today, the best show is the dress rehearsal.
Yes, that's what I usually go to,
So
too.
if, a lot of people want the prestige of the live show and maybe you'll see a celebrity. If you really love the craft of sketch comedy and you love SNL, you always choose the dress rehearsal.
Well, you get to see extra stuff. You get to see what gets cut.
You get to see
great.
more. Everyone's aware. The energy in that of the audience is also more hyped up because you're test running. The tester is going to get the best stuff.
Right.
And some of you could say the stuff that doesn't make it, but there are times where what makes it and doesn't make it, I'm like, are you kidding me? That didn't make it? Like, it's...
Well, we were talking before about, like, watching it, and it kind of depends on the shows had ebbs and flows, but really what I found is everybody's favorite SNL is the one that they grew up with.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll never compare to this. Like, for me, it was like Phil Hartman, and then like
he's one of the greats.
Yeah, and Dana Carvey, and then
I like Will Ferrell.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
Tell me what your view. Well, we've talked about the View Mount Rushmore. Tell me what your SNL Mount Rushmore is. So you get 4 names. Who are the 4 people on SNL's Mount Rushmore? It's very hard.
Okay, it is very hard because I almost have to do men and women, not to separate them, but there's too many to limit them down. Like some of the great men that have come through. Phil Hartman's one of them. Will Ferrell, to me.
Yes.
Chris Farley, James Belushi,
Genius.
watching old stuff. Eddie Murphy.
I need 4.
I know. So men, I'd say Will Ferrell.
You can't do men. You have to do 4 people.
Okay, shut up. Will Ferrell, Chris Farley will be the 2 men. And then for women, I have to go Amy Poehler. And then I'd probably maybe go Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and I didn't even watch her episodes.
She wasn't even, that wasn't like her peak, though. I wouldn't.
Yeah, but she
as an entity is one of the best. She's
okay, so I'm going to go Amy Poehler and Kristen Wiig.
Okay, that's a very good list. It's wrong, but it's a really good list. I would do, let's see, Eddie Murphy, first of all.
Well, I know Eddie Murphy's iconic, but I grew up under the Will Ferrell, Chris Farley.
I understand, and I'm going to go Will Ferrell also. So I'm going to have
to.
Eddie Murphy, the biggest star ever to do SNL. I mean, he was,
yeah.
Will Ferrell.
Chris Rock was on there.
Chris Rock was on there. He's very good. I'm going to go.
Again, good luck.
I'm going to go with Tina Fey, who I think belongs there.
I mean, she'd be one of them. I mean, I can't narrow it down.
And I'm going to go with, this is hard. I'm going to go with Phil Hartman. I think he deserves that. Yeah.
Phil Hartman, when you watch even the specials since he's
passed
after he was killed, like the flashbacks, you forget how many times you were like dying on the floor.
Unfrozen Caveman Lawyer or any of that stuff. I mean, he's just the best. Between that and The Simpsons. All right. Now, you weren't just SNL adjacent while you were at NBC. You were actually portrayed on SNL. Did you know this? Are you aware of this?
You mean with Kathy Lee and Hoda?
You with Kathy Lee and Hoda.
Yes. Okay, wait. There was a dream come true moment where someone that works on SNL sends me a picture and it's a wig and it says Sara Haines. And she couldn't tell me. I mean, it was a Saturday. It's a Zach Galifianakis is the guest host. That was the one time.
I have it here. Let's take a look together.
My nephew was like impressed with me.
All right, ready?
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt, but Facebook is blowing up over here.
Oh, look, everybody, it's our web correspondent, Sara Haines. Wait till we get our hands on you. This really is so loud.
From Mindy in Glendale, California. This show is like watching two drunk chickens fight over a piece of garbage. But why can't I stop watching? Why? Why? Ooh.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty good. There's really no better honor, I think.
The closest I'm going to get to SNL is someone playing me on SNL. I'll take it.
All I ever wanted was for The View to be on SNL when I got here because it was so epically, the Sherry O'Terry years and all that stuff.
Oh, my gosh.
Were so epic, and it stopped for a while. And then when it started up again, I think I was here a couple of years in, someone sent me, a friend that works there sent me a photo of the View table
I
for
love
the dress rehearsal. And then my stomach dropped. I'm like, what are they going to say? But it's great.
We're five best friends that have nothing in common.
It was so good. It was so good. And it's been a couple times in our tenure here. You haven't been parodied as a View host yet, I don't think, have you?
No.
All right. So we still have that time for that to come. Yeah. Here's hoping. They had a generic producer played by Owen Wilson that I choose to believe was me, and I'm going to go with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
We believe what we want.
Yeah. All right. You did get a heads up that you were going to get betrayed. What was the reaction when it aired?
It was amazing because I think when they rehearsed it, I was like more like you can't really I'm not being mocked as much as the others. So I think they probably went heavy-handed on the mocking because there was plenty of material. And then they straightened it out to make it a little more contrast.
Right.
But I kind of wanted to see my wacky self.
Of course. Of course.
My nephew called and he said, did you know that they played you on TV? And I thought, this is the first time you're noticing that I have a career. But I kind of understood. I was like, me too. Like I was.
Now, my oldest daughter started to watch SNL, not live on 11:30, but she's seeing clips and getting into it and really intrigued in it. And I'm picking and choosing what I'll show her. But how would you feel with your kids if they wanted to go down that route of comedy and improv and things like that? Is that something you'd encourage, or do you think it's?
I would really encourage if I see a spark in them, and I know the spark because it's not in everything. You can work hard at a lot of things and not see that light. Mm-hmm. If I saw, whether it was in engineering or comedy, what I feel when I'm getting the chance to make people laugh or tell a story, I would help them with anything.
Yeah, that's great.
Life's too short, you know.
Speaking of kids, I heard you threw a party for your daughter, your beautiful daughter, Sandra. Her birthday's this weekend.
Her birthday was in December.
So you had her birthday this weekend.
But her actual birthday was December 23rd.
Why did you make her wait months for her birthday?
We haven't told her actual birthday.
She doesn't know her actual birthday?
No. I'm just kidding. No, so the thing is that Christmas is such a big time and there's so much going on that it started one time where we planned a party on her birthday and we got stuck in Florida coming back from my parents. And then I said, I'll never do that again. But for some reason, her birthday is inching towards the spring every year because first it was in the middle of January. Now it's almost the middle of February. So I can't think about it. And you have to give people notice, but I cannot deal with all that Christmas entails, all of that, and then also be sending out Evites and figuring out where we're going. And so
that's cold.
I know my mom, when I told her, I was like, oh, we have Sandra's birthday. She goes, this weekend? It's so late.
I mean, it's Valentine's Day, too. Are you not going to push it off again? Like, what are you doing?
Better late than never. Yeah. No, Alex's birthday's coming up in March, and he's like, when are we talking about my birthday? I was like, well, we should be now, but we're finishing Sandra's. So yours will probably be in May.
Wow. I mean, I can't prove this is true, but I believe strongly that my parents were telling me the wrong birthday for the first 7 or 8 years of my life.
Seriously?
I think they thought I was born on August 31st, and then I think eventually they found a birth certificate or something and said it was the 30th. They deny it, but I believe that happened.
Spelled my middle name Hillary with 2 L's until they discovered my birth certificate when I was going to college. They had been spelling it wrong my whole life.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, were you not paying attention at all with your third child? So I all those documents, everything I misspelled. I was always double L's.
I mean, it's hard for you to throw stones when you're doing your kid's birthday party 3 months after her birthday.
What I'm saying is it leaves a mark, and then we follow that example and become crappy parents too. And that's.
I guess so. There we go.
It's not DNA, but it's passed on.
Yeah, it's nature or nurture. There you go. All right. Before we go, we have to talk about Joy's play because we were all at the premiere of this play. You were amped up when you came in there that night. I'm not going to lie. We talked about it on the show yesterday. You might have injured Nikki.
I definitely injured Nikki. I don't know if she hears well out of her right ear anymore either.
Yeah. You were laughing very, very hard, but you also were like inflicting like pain.
Yeah, because it was in honor of Joy. I hit Joy, and to celebrate Joy, I then hit other people.
You are the best audience. I'm not going to lie. Yeah.
So comedy is my medicine in life. There's a reason SNL is my thing, that I'm obsessed with Joy during commercials specifically. And then whenever she puts on a show, because life can be dark and hard. Comedians and people that hit that heart of a joke or a moment, it's like what I live for.
Right.
It's literally defines everything in my life. So I am the most appreciative of comedians, and to see great material. I came in, what's weird though is I did not expect the poignant parts. So Joy had said, it's really funny. It's my first ex-husband, and she didn't explain the range some of these would have. So there were moments where Nikki and I were sitting there, and she's like, "That's not funny." I was like, "No, it's not funny. That's not funny." It was like powerful, but the funny.
But also, she's kind of smutty. Am I wrong? Like I was talking to her about this. She's like, "Oh no, I wasn't." I'm like,
"The
Joy,
takes a licking." That was one of my favorite parts.
Well, there was a lot. Let's just go there.
No, but it was smutty and real and honest.
Yes.
And hilarious.
It was great.
It was.
I was so proud of her, which is an odd thing to say, but I felt really proud of her.
No, it's funny because it's all her. She's my dad's age, but when she comes out on a stage, or I know it's something she's worked on, it's something about knowing it's someone's passion.
Yes.
That I did a yell that I did not realize I did a yell. Nikki sent the video to me.
Oh, I heard
Did you guys hear it?
I was behind you.
No. Well, do you want to? She sent me this and she said, "Sarah, what the hell? Listen to this scream."
Yeah, I was there. And my bosses were in front of you. Right. I mean, I yell like that during the show.
Yeah,
but still,
it was a lot.
Yeah.
I didn't feel I came in that hot, but it was pure and it was...
It was authentic.
It was authentic.
Yes, it was authentic. It was pure Sara
By
Haines.
the way, when I walk in, I see Diane Sawyer. I see Almeen. I see... And
Mikhail
somehow...
Gorishnikov.
The dancer as well. He was at the last one too.
Yeah.
Because I was like... I was a little starstruck by him. But
yeah.
A lot of people in there. Susan Lucci was in there. Things it's better not to know when you yelp like that, but the room was impressive.
Yeah, it was an impressive room, and it was invite only, so, but it was great. It was really fun. I really cannot tell people more, like, go see it.
Yeah,
it's really worth it. You won't be sorry.
It's great material. And it's awesome. It's female driven, and the reason I mention that is to get that type of content where you're connecting on some of that humor. See four
talented people,
very talented,
reading great material, and it really, if you like The View and you like Joy, you're gonna love this. So I would definitely tell people to go see it.
But be ready to let your feelings go where they're gonna go.
Yeah,
because it's not all funny.
You're always ready for your feelings to go where they're gonna go.
Yeah, I didn't cry.
No, but your feelings are like the Tron roller coaster. I mean, who are we kidding?
They're not even that steady. That thing goes in at least a straight line.
Going back to SNL, and you were talking about how you love Chris Farley, I just realized who you remind me of is Chris Farley in that sketch.
Fat guy in a little coat?
No, where he interviews people, and he's like, that's how you are in interviews sometimes. It's like, remember that time you were in that movie Step Brothers? That was great.
You sent me that Will Ferrell clip. None of those quotes would I ever quote to Will Ferrell.
No, what would you quote to
All
Will Ferrell?
Step Brothers.
Yeah, of course.
It's like, we got room in here for
Are we
activities.
best friends? That was it.
Yeah, I'd follow you into the Mists of Avalon. You just slap some keels on here.
I mean, it's always like, because I found, the one thing I found the most, and you know this from Whoopi too, is like, they're all good-natured about it, but the last thing any star wants to talk about is the movie they're most famous for.
But what I hope they understand is it's not the quote. It's that the words take you to the scene that they nailed so brilliantly.
I know, but you do this in every interview. If I have someone who is like, if I have someone who once was in a movie with somebody else who was in Mean Girls, you'll like quote Mean Girls quotes to them. Like it's
no, I will, and it's adjacent or tertiary to who actually did it. But I remember when Alyssa was afraid I was going to ask Robert De Niro to milk me.
Yeah, I was worried about it.
Yeah, but Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller,
and I said, girl, know your movies. I would never ask Ben Stiller.
Right.
I'd ask Robert De Niro.
If you ask Robert De Niro that, I'm walking out.
Oh, I will.
All right. On that note. Thanks for joining me today, Sarah. Tomorrow...
The whole control room, what you can't see is them getting up, like, wrap it up, let's go.
Yeah. We've been milking this too long.
Oh!
Thank you for joining me, Sara Haines. Tomorrow, I'll be back here with Anna Navarro, and we'll see you then.